Hey guys, it's me Shane, here to give you another Digimon Adventure 2020 episode review and recap. So, last time we had the episode where Mimi got lost and they ran to Andromon and Garudamon, and this episode they started off with the encyclopedia for Piomon slash Biomon. And I'm actually liking some of these little fun facts in there. I think today's fun fact was that Piomon is a very curious Digimon, and they tend to peck things that they're curious about. And the title for this episode is Garudamon of the Crimson Wings. I got my notes right here. We're going to go ahead and just get right on into it. So, as you remember, Yamato has a group, Taichi has a group, and Taichi group was going through the ruins. Yamato's group was in the desert, but now we find them flying over a jungle. And as they're flying over the jungle, Joe is starting to get airsick, which I'm guessing that's just another form of motion sickness. And as they're going over I want to say the horizon, they start seeing these large Digimon. And I'm going to do something new today and see if I can show you guys some pictures of these Digimon. The first Digimon they see coming up is Funbimon. This little guy right here. Initially, they thinking they're about to be attacked, but then they realize that Funbimon are being chased by Waspmon. And Waspmon have the same dark miasma spilling from, well, their wasps, so their mouths or mandibles, just like Metal Tyrannomon, just like the aura that's coming off of Andromon, just like the dark mist that's coming out of Scorpiomon's mouth. And there's not just one Waspmon there, there's a colony. And they are all flying out of this Digimon, Cannon Beamon. This is the Digimon that I had misremembered. I thought this was a Mega level Digimon. This is actually an Ultimate level Digimon, but they never exclusively make note that it's an Ultimate level Digimon. But if you can tell, the wasps are chasing the bees. The wasps are coming out of this giant mechanical bee air fortress thing. So I guess they're going to let you use your inference to pretty much figure out how the levels are going up. And as I was saying before, the Waspmon are chasing the Funbimon, and they're capturing them in these pink gum-like things that are coming from, the abdomen parts of them, where the stingers would be. And of course, the children are like, we can't really let them do this, right? All the while, they have been seen, and they are just trying to make their way away from the line of fire from the Waspmon. And Cannon Beamon is shooting 4 missiles at a time. These giant missiles look like giant bees. Funny enough, Gabumon is able to, get rid of 3 of the 4, but they have to make a beeline to the jungle. Joe falls off of the log that Bergermon is carrying, and they get separated with Joe. All the while they're trying to look for Joe, they run into another Funbimon. And the Funbimon is pretty much terrified until Sora tells it, hey, we're not going to hurt you. And Piomon basically backs up her claims. And they get the 411s going on. The Waspmon are taking all the Funbimon and anybody that goes inside of the Cannon Beamon's giant pod things. These little crystal things right there, these blue crystal things. Anything that goes inside of that, they just become Cannon Beamon soldiers, which I'm using as an inference. I'm guessing they're saying that the Funbimon come in and they're forced to digivolve into Waspmon, and that's how they're becoming slaves or servants. Sorry, I didn't want to say slaves, but who knows? We get a little pan back to Tai, Koshiro, and Mimi, and Koshiro still having trouble with his laptop. We get a little bit of comedy with Tai and Agumon saying, well, we'll just whack it. And Koshiro saying no, and they just figure maybe they should get to higher ground and perhaps they'll get signal that way. Well, all the while, our friends with Yamato and Sora and their group, they hear Joe call out, and it looks like the Waspmon have not only captured other Funbimon, they've captured Joe and Gomamon. And Joe, this is one of the things I love about this show, because I'm thinking to myself, well, why don't you just have Gomamon Digivolve? He even says, I'm just going to have you Digivolve, but he's getting airsick. They've been flying for too long, and as I've established in other reviews, it seems like the children have more of a connection and more control over getting their Digimon to Digivolve, and that just doesn't happen. And Matt Yamato says he's going to come up with a plan, and essentially, when the Waspmon are coming after more of the Funbimon, they attack them with the original Funbimon that they had befriended, get him to help them free their friends so that they can be captured by the Waspmon. And one of the greatest screenshots you can ever have is when both Yamato and Sora stand in front of Gabumon and Piyomon because they were leading the attack. But when they were getting overwhelmed by, I'm just going to call them shadow needles coming from the Waspmon, they stand in front of their Digimon and are like, all right, let's just get this plan rolling. And as we see inside of Canonbemon, there are pods that the Digimon are being held. Gomon is with other Funbemon, and just it's basically a giant mega fortress. If I can compare it to anything, maybe the old '90s Turtles cartoon with the Technodrome, just long metal hallways. And it turns out that Joe has been thrown in the trash. So Star Wars style, he is in a trash compactor, and just all the trash is landing on him. As they, Sora and Yamato make it inside, they're like, okay, that's enough of that. Garudamon digivolves with that beautiful digivolution scene. Garudamon breaks through. Garudamon is just taking out Waspmon left and right with the Foxfire attack he has. And eventually, they make their way down another hallway. And this is when Yamato gets Garudamon to further evolve into Garudamon. And I like this Digivolution scene much better than his initial scene. Again, we do get to see the very weird but very awesome image of a four-legged wolf becoming a two-legged werewolf. Looks very, very good. Music is also wonderful as well. And Garudamon is just wrecking these Waspmon. Like left and right, he does a fighting game combo in the air where it's like kick, punch, axe kick, and the axe kick on the last Waspmon breaks the wall, and this is where they see Joe. They get Piyomon to further open the wall, and they're like, "Oh, so they had you in the trash." And unfortunately, that's where they had him. Goldmon is able to use marching fishes. Again, that's really interesting that he's able to use this move, and he's not around water. But I digress. He uses marching fishes to break himself and the Funbemon he's with out of the glass container they're in. A lot of them are now being surrounded by Waspmon on either side of them. They're being bombarded through all the smoke. Yamato's like, we need to just get out of here. And Garudamon just punches the ground, breaks it open, and they're all free falling. Piyomon turns to the Bergermon. They're going towards a clearing where they let off Joe and Gomamon just so Joe can finally get his land legs again. And I'm just going to interject in here. The fact that Garudamon punched through metal, that's not only impressive. You have to think about the fact that they're inside of a giant Digimon. Does this thing not like feel pain? Or I know it's a cyborg Digimon based on the Wikimon site where I showed you the picture, but the fact that they're just punching through and there's a taxi going on inside of it, or maybe the pods are separate. Don't know. That's just a side thought I had. So, as they drop off, like I said, they drop off Joe and Gomon, and Sora's like, yeah, we're going to go back and get the Funbemon. I just can't leave them in there. And I guess she initially planned on dropping off both Yamato and Joe, but Yamato's on the other side of Bergermon on the legs, and saying, like, I knew you would go back for them, because it's the same thing with Namon. Sora is the motherly character. Like I told you before, slight spoiler, her crest was love in the original show. She still has a crest of love now. She's not going to see someone hurting and not go back and do anything. So the plan now, is that they're going to go back inside. Yamato's going to lead the charge, break them free, get them to a certain pod, and then they'll be able to just fly them out. Well, they They get there inside the pod because Garudamon is able to break in and break everybody out with a single attack. But Cannonbemon is giving Bergermon and Sora is just the absolute hardest time. The Meteor Wing is able to break through the missiles, but Cannonbemon has a giant stinger that's also apparently a giant laser railgun. And when that's fired, narrowly missing Bergermon and Sora, there's a mountain in the horizon behind them. This thing leaves a crater in this mountain. And and all the while, Joe is now he has his land legs, gets Gomon to evolve into Ikakumon. Ikakumon is shooting down the Waspmon and getting their attention while they're trying to do this plan. And Sora kind of has that same moment that Joe had, where she's thinking in her head, Joe and Yamato, they're both doing their part. I can't let them down. It's not just the people in the human world that I want to help. I want to help any Digimon that's suffering. I'm not gonna let anybody be hurt in front of me. This burst of love goes through the device. Device lights up red. Bergermon lights up red, and Bergermon has probably one of the next to Greymon turn to Metal Greymon, one of the better super evolutions, well, debut super evolutions on the show right now. Because the transformation from Bergermon into Garudamon, which I happen to also have a picture here. If you didn't watch the original show, this is Garudamon. We get to see her so much earlier than the original show. Thank goodness. You're gonna have to wait another 28 to 14 episodes. And she appears. Cannonbemon raises that giant stinger to use another super energy shot. Garudamon uses her Shadow Wing attack, which I don't know why it's called Shadow Wing, because flames engulf her and she's able to shoot a beam that's in the shape of like a phoenix, or the holy Hindu Garuda. Beam and projectile attack clash. The clash goes out in Garudamon's favor. She's able to swoop down, burst through Cannonbemon, and what we're shown beforehand when Cannonbemon is charging up the laser, there's like a reactor core in there that goes all cold red. They burst into the reactor core, bang it up, go back up through this Digimon, pick up the pod that Yamato, Garurumon, and the Funbemon are in, fly off, and before this thing explodes, the head of Cannonbemon just falls right off. And I don't know if you guys have ever killed a wasp yourself or killed a bee yourself. If you hit them hard enough, a lot of times their heads just pop right off. That's kind of what this reminded me of. And that was just this show. They are defeating and destroying these bad Digimon in the most spectacular ways possible. And I'm all for it. So head falls off, body explodes. We don't really see what happens in the Waspmon. I'm going to assume that without the hive mind, because we are shown very, very early on that the Cannonbemon, its eyes closed and it's kind of like a buzzing noise. We're shown that it controls the Waspmon. I'm just going to assume the Waspmon fall off. Not only do they rescue the Funbemon, they get themselves out of the situation. Bergermon achieve super evolution, and everybody's happy. We then go back to Taichi's group, and with Taichi, Koshiro, and Mimi getting to a higher precipice in this little rocky area, he's able to see on his little digital laptop thing he has. Okay, their group and Yamato's group, they're going to meet past this canyon that they're on, and that's when they're going to intersect. But when he tries to check up on the real world, his computer gets you guys know the whole the little swirly circle when you're on a YouTube video and it's buffering and it's just not coming up. That happens, and we get another joke where Taichi is saying he'll whack it, but not Yamato, but Agumon's taking it seriously. He's like, won't you get hurt if you punch it? You should let me do it. He's saying, no, I'm not really going to hit it. It's just a joke. And that is how we end off the scene. We're given a little flash of next time, and like I said in the comments of my last video, we're going to get Kabuterimon Super Evolution. very excited. We haven't even. I'm guessing we're going to see Kuwagamon, and Kuwagamon in the first version of Digimon and Digimon Adventure Season 1. Kuwagamon's basically the first Digimon they run into. So the fact that they've held off this long to show one of the original Digimon, like Kuwagamon's one of the very first Digimon that were in the digital pets, sorry. It's pretty interesting. I'm gonna check some notes to make sure I didn't miss anything I wanted to say. I did want to say that I find Garudamon's form way more pleasing to the eyes than I do Bergermon. Like Bergermon's this giant. It's I know it's supposed to be a bird, but those jagged teeth are just something else. And Garudamon looks way stronger, way more elegant. Another interesting thing is no Soundbirdmon today. Soundbirdmon was in the last episode messing around with Andromon, making it evil. It was also around with Metal Tyrannomon, and I believe it was around with Scorpiomon. So it's kind of interesting to see that this Canon Beamon was kind of working by itself, but at the same time not. I'm really hoping that gets addressed later on. So, as we know, we rate everything out of 5. We get not 1, not 2, but 3 new Digimon. We get an evolution. We get more scenes showing how the how the chosen children and their Digimon interact, not just partner to partner, but cross someone else's partners. It's pretty good dialogues going on there. Pretty good visuals going on. The evolutions are starting to look way better, especially when we're catching up, when we're going not just the debut, but the second time we're going to see evolutions. They're starting to put a little bit more detail in them. That probably has something to do with the whole pandemic situation. They probably had to skip some steps with our last episodes, but I'm very pleased. This episode's really, really good. I like it a lot more than the Mimi episode. There's not a lot of whining, even from Joe. Joe's sick, and he wasn't whining as much as Mimi was. So, but yeah, I give this episode. It is one of the better episodes. I'm willing to give this episode a 5, actually. I'll chill out. I'll give it a 4. Yeah, 4.5 at most. Pretty decent episode. Very watchable. I would be willing to watch this again. Out of the 13 episodes so far, it's been really, really good. So, guys, please tell me what you thought about the episode. I hope you watched the episode. Let me know what you think of the visuals. Are the visuals, slowly but surely getting better in your opinion? Are you excited to see, eventually they're going to come to the big boss? And if the big boss is Devimon, like I think, I wonder if this one champion Digimon can take out all of their ultimate forms. So tell me what you're speculating. Tell me what you think is going to come up next. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get notified of more Digimon review videos like this. Again, wear a mask. Black Lives Matter. Be good, be blessed, and I will definitely see you next time.